Nintendo Switch 2 was never going to meet the impossible expectations set for it by its predecessor 8 years before, but I don't think anyone was really prepared for this. Now, what I'm talking about, if you're not familiar, is that Nintendo Switch 2 has been announced, but I haven't really been talking about it because I wasn't really sure what to say. Like, at the first, I was really excited about the Nintendo Switch 2. I watched the trailer, I was like, wow, it looks like it's going to look a little bit better. It's going to cost a little bit more. It's going to change a few things, but it's got some cool new features. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I went on social media, and I kind of wish I hadn't, because I was like, wow, people are kind of upset about this. And then after the days went by, people like really angry about this. It wasn't really until I watched other people's videos where it was explained to me. It's just like, well, okay, this is a bit of an alarm bell. It's like, if we're going in this direction, really, we're setting a precedent for getting people to pay more money than the original launch editions of games that like went down, like they were like $60 at launch, and then eventually they were bargain bin and they were brought down to like $20 or less. And then when the Switch version came out, it became like this new excuse to charge everyone $70 or maybe $80 for the same game that came out like $60 like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. The reason I didn't react that way when I first watched the trailer was that, okay, it's gonna be $450, which sounds like, you know, a 50% increase on the base standard Nintendo Switch that I still use. I thought, well, that's still $50 less than a PS5, and in a way, I'm happy about that because it's not as expensive as a PS5, and I play my Nintendo Switch way more than I play my PS5. $450, that's still $50 less than I paid for my base PS5. And I'm going to play so many more games on it. It's going to have Animal Crossing, Tomodachi Life. It's going to have probably another Pokemon game, which I'll buy and then not really play after the first few hours. I spend most of my time on my Nintendo Switch playing a game that came out like 30 years ago. It was called Panel de Pon. £18 for a year of Nintendo Switch Online for the game that I play the most. And it allows me to play it online, which is something you couldn't do on the original Super Nintendo game. Whereas my PSN subscription, like, I don't really want to play a lot of the games, apart from Ridge Racer Type 4 every now and then. But I have to have it to play online games like Street Fighter 6 on PS5. And I think the base, like the lowest price you can pay for PSN Plus is like 60 quid. Okay, they're upping the price to $450. As long as it's less than a PS5, I still kind of considered it good value. But, like I mentioned, when I watched other people's videos and I read people's opinions on social media, I was like, okay, I think I realized that they glossed over a lot of stuff that actually is kind of important. They've got these game cards now. They're going to have no game on them at all, which means that the whole point of them being a game cartridge, which is for some people preservation, so that if they shut down Nintendo's servers, which probably will happen, like we see old game stores getting shut down all the time, the Xbox 360 store, the Wii U, the Wii shop, all of that stuff eventually gets shut down. It's just like, well, I won't have access to my game if they shut down the server. But the idea of like a physical cartridge, it was quite nice. It was like, oh, Nintendo is still the console where you can get physical games, and then by extension be able to just share them with other people. I'm still a little bit fuzzy on how these game key cards are going to work, but as I understand it, there will be regular Nintendo Switch 2 game cards, and there will be these game key cards. Instead of making publishers pay for these really expensive cards to, well, I don't know how expensive they actually are to make, but instead of getting them to pay money to build these cards with the game built into them, they'll lower the cost for the publisher so they can still charge you a large amount of money for a digital game. But if I understand correctly, you will be able to pull that game key card out, hand it over to someone or sell it to someone, and they'll be able to play the game, which is not something you can really do with digital downloads. I know, like, if I have a game on Steam, I can't, if I like done playing it, I can't like sell it to someone and get the money for it. It's like, it's part of my library. I don't really have the rights to resell it to anyone. The physical component of the Nintendo Switch was quite important. Actually, what really mattered was like the preservation aspect. It feels like that's just going out the window. We'll just start with game key cards, but eventually there will just be no games on actual cartridges, and like everything will just be downloaded from a server. And when we stop selling the game, that's it. You won't be able to download it again. But more than the game keycards, I think people were kind of upset about the fact that they're going to be charging for the welcome tour. If I'm not mistaken, the estimated price is like $6 for this. It's not a game. It's kind of like the demo mode. It's like kind of teaches you about the Nintendo Switch. And that is kind of alarming. It's like, why are we charging people $6? I recognize that you put work into making a nice experience for people to understand the game. But really, it is an instruction manual, right? Which wasn't something that we paid extra for. It just doesn't seem like the sort of place where you should create bad blood with your fans. It's like, if you could have just given it away for free, like, really, are you going to make much profit off that $6 welcome tour game? Like, enough to really make it worth annoying all of your fans? I don't know. I don't know if it is. Like, okay, if they made an incredibly beautiful experience, which is like a proper full-on game, and it's just like, okay, we're going to go through the features of the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's going to be a real experience. And if you want to experience all the cool new stuff that you can do on the Nintendo Switch 2, it's going to cost $6. That's different. But what I saw on the trailer, it really did look like just like a virtual instruction manual. Most people can afford it. I understand that. But at that point, it's like, it's not about whether people can afford $6. It's about, this should be free. This should be included in the price. You should eat this up. You're a large corporation. You obviously have the money to like eat the cost of whatever it cost you to pay someone to make welcome tour. But there's just so many other things. It's like, okay, it's only $100 more than the OLED Switch, and you will be getting a significantly more powerful device. When you consider inflation as well, really, maybe things probably should be costing more anyway. That doesn't make it okay to charge more for it, though. So, can you see where I'm in like a difficult position here? It's like, I want to say, like, I think it's justified for it to be a bit more expensive, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I get it. They are charging money in a lot of places where they probably shouldn't. And that's why it's really frustrating, because I was excited about the trailer that they showed for the Nintendo Switch 2. But I think what really happened was that they dazzled us with all of the flashy, cool new stuff. But then they just kind of quietly slipped in all of these, I don't know if the word is poisonous, like the slightly poisonous sort of business practices, where it's like, is this where it's going? Because if this is where it's going, I'm not sure I'm really on board for it. When it comes to social media, one of the things that I'm trying to avoid is jumping on the rage and engagement bait, which is like, well, I don't even really feel like it's that bad, but everyone else is angry about Nintendo Switch 2, so I'm going to make an angry Nintendo Switch 2 video as well. I don't really want to be part of that. I realize that maybe that would lead to more views, but I grew up in the era of YouTube where kind of sitting down like this and having a casual conversation about stuff and trying to get as much of the actual nuance out of it, that's just the era I grew up with, which is why I'm still making a video like this, even in 2025, where it would be easier. It would be so much easier to go like, what is going on? How awful is this company? I can't believe they're trying. Like, I get it. All the things that people say that are probably kind of worrying, I think those are valid points. I'm curious to see where Nintendo goes with this. I don't think they will lower the price of the Nintendo Switch 2. I think $450, if the rumors are true, they're already still losing a bit of money when they sell the console. Fortunately, if they're selling us old games that came out 8 years ago for $20 more than they cost 8 years ago, they're going to make all of that profit back on game one. You'll buy one game with your Nintendo Switch 2, and they all have made all their money back. And I'm pretty sure, on average, most people are buying at least 3 or 4 games on the Nintendo Switch 2. And over the lifetime of the Nintendo Switch, if you're like me, you've probably got at least 40 or 50 games on them. You know, some of them are only like $5, but a lot of them are $50 to $60 games, and now, I guess, $80. I think the timing was quite poor. It's not just that if they had done this trailer a couple months later, it would have been fine, but there was the whole situation with America and the tariffs and like, is everything going to get more expensive? It's like, on top of the fact that I can't afford my groceries, like, I can't buy carrots. As the rich get richer, the regular people like us, it's like, even though we get paid more, we're like, you can get promoted at work and still be working paycheck to paycheck. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, I make so much more money than I did before, but why am I still struggling? I totally understand the shock at the price being more expensive. It's like, when we look at the numbers only, and we don't consider the inflation, it's just like, why is it more expensive? But with inflation, a lot of things probably are going to be like 20 or 30% more expensive than they were 7 or 8 years ago. But on top of that, it's like, why? What? It feels like this coordinated attack on our lives. It's like tariffs causing more things to be more expensive. There was chip shortages. There were like worldwide pandemics, all sorts of situations causing everything to be more expensive. And on top of it all, I can't even have my gosh darned Nintendo Switch at $300. It's like, why does everything have to suck these days? If I'm not mistaken, it won't launch until the 5th of June in Japan. So 53,000 yen is currently $370, which is way less than $450. But if you come to Japan trying to buy a version that actually runs in English and isn't region locked, you have to buy the special version. And I think that's going to be something like 70,000 yen, which means $491 at the current exchange rate, which would be $40 more than you would be paying if you just bought it in America, where you live. Having a price that looks lower in Japan, like, that's not a good look. I'm not making this video to say, like, wow, Nintendo's awful. I'm also not trying to protect them. I'm not trying to say, like, hey, this is justified. I really just wanted to make a little discussion video about this because I haven't had much time to do, like, discussion time with you. I've been a little bit preoccupied with, like, I've got, like, all these visions of what I want the channel to look like, and then I get too perfectionist about it, and then I end up just not making videos because I'm like, oh, it's not exactly how I want it. So I do apologize for the delay in making videos at the same pace that maybe I used to. I have a lot of controllers in my house that I'm supposed to be reviewing, but just the perfectionist syndrome is quite difficult to get past. I've been mulling over various things about the Nintendo Switch. I did want to make this video, and I did see that in the comments. People are just like, aren't you gonna make a video talking about what you think of the Nintendo Switch too? And it's like, yeah, but I don't know how I want to take it. I think the price of the console will probably stay the same, but I think they may think twice about the pricing of old games, like, you know, the Breath of the Wild, but version for Switch 2. I think it, you know, after 8 years, it doesn't really make sense to charge extra for it. I do want Nintendo to continue. As annoying as some of these changes about game key cards and more expensive games or charging more than full price for games that came out 8 years ago, as annoying as a lot of this stuff was, Nintendo is one of those companies that I would sorely miss if, like, they were just destroyed out of existence. Yeah, it's annoying. I don't like the business practices, but I wouldn't like to not have Nintendo. Like, if I was stuck with only what we've got on PS5 and Xbox for console stuff, I'd be like, but sometimes I wish I just had what we had on Nintendo. It was just like, I don't know if the word is good, clean fun, but it just feels like good, clean fun. Now, the eShop, that's a different story. Not everything on there is clean. But you know what I mean? Like, there's just something simple about, like, just the joy of just a simple game. Like, a game being fun for the sake of being a game. There's a lot of stuff that I may have even just got wrong in this video. But if there's, like, new up-to-date opinions that you want to share with me in the comments, do let me know. Let's see if there are updates. Let's see if they changed their pricing strategies. Let's see if it's even possible to get one. I remember there was the only way to buy a Nintendo Switch when it originally came out was to, like, use lotteries. You had to, like, sign up, and then if you missed out on the lottery this month, you had to wait till the following month, and they would do another lottery. It's just like, oh, you failed the lottery again. It's like, you had no idea if you would ever get a Nintendo Switch, and then you had to, like, scour the internet for sites that, like, this website finally has stock. Oh, stock just came in. Okay, quick, everybody go. It's like the scalper situation. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I've been NihongoGamer. I wanted to make this video about Nintendo Switch 2 weeks ago, and I finally made it, and I still don't know how I feel about it. Let me know. I'll see you all real soon.